So let us start for the day. This is a program which we have organized for people in general, means to say the lawyers who come from all over the world. We have advertised this and we want to tell the people what is NCA and how you can become barrister and solicitors in Canada. Before we proceed further, let me start formally. Good evening to all of you. If anybody is from abroad, good day to all of you. And Dipesh is, I suppose, still facing any problem before we start with. Dipesh, you can speak, please. Dipesh, hand is up. Any issues? I suppose my voice is audible to all whosoever is there. Dipesh, you can check your voice, audio, please. Okay. So today we are here how to become barrister and solicitor in Canada. And I have started sharing my screen because you will be having everything on your screen, the complete information that how you can become barrister and solicitor in Canada. Of course, we will be taking your questions and it will be a very simple program like so that you can become conversant with what is NCA and how you can become barrister and solicitor in Canada. We will be taking up your question. Let me give you presentation which I have prepared for you people in particular, and the moment we complete our presentation, or you can stop me in between and ask the question. Of course, we are here with first slide, and first slide says that you all are internationally educated legal professionals. You may be from any part of the world, like you are from India, you are from any common law country. If you are a civil law country, then this program is not for you. If you are from France, Rome, Italy, most of the European countries or civil law countries, wherever they are. But approximately 100 countries in the world are common law countries, and any lawyer migrating from that country to Canada needs to go through the same schedule, means to say he needs to go the same path. Before I proceed further, I want to tell you, if say I'm a Canadian citizen, I do not get admission in any of the law schools. I go abroad and do my legal studies and become a lawyer in any other country, because many Canadian students do go to UK, Australia, or New Zealand. The path remains to be the same. Say you are coming from India, you are coming from Pakistan, you are coming from any of the countries of the world who are common law countries, the path remains the same. The moment you want to become a lawyer in Canada, and if you are a lawyer in your home jurisdiction, common law country, the first step is there is a committee, National Committee on Accreditation, NCA commonly called as. NCA.legal is its site. Anybody can visit its site, NCA.legal. And NCA.legal, once you go over there, that is the organization which is responsible for the assessment of all the foreign lawyers. If you are coming from any jurisdiction of the world and want to become a lawyer, then this is the committee responsible for assessment of your credentials. You have to go to nca.legal and fill up the online application, upload your resume. You are to put everything in your resume, then you are to pay the prescribed fee. After payment of the fee, your file number will be generated. And once file number is there, with that file number, you can go to your concerned university or bar council. Then you have to send your transcripts of law. transcripts of law directly to NCA. The moment they receive, then you are in the queue for assessment. So nca.legal is the site where you can go and do all your credentials. You have to put all your particulars. Once you put all your particulars into that online application, then the concerned university or bar council needs to send your transcripts on this address with your file number. These are sent manually through post or through courier, whatsoever mode your university adopts, but you cannot send at your own. Even the bar council of concerned bar council, any of the bar councils, say Delhi Bar Council or Punjab and Haryana Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, or bar councils of any other country, means to say the regulatory body of lawyers. If you are in UK, then Solicitor Regulatory Authority is the responsible authority who can send your transcripts being a solicitor to NCA. So you can visit particular in which jurisdiction you are. You have to send your transcripts directly from that institution to the NCA. Once your transcripts reaches, as I already told you, that you are in the queue for assessment. Now the question which comes in the mind, that what is the criteria of judging? Let me introduce you. Every lawyer coming from any jurisdiction gets minimum of 5 subjects. I will be definitely sharing the whole knowledge that which are those 5 subjects which are necessary for everyone to pass. And there is one course by the name of legal research and legal writing. But before that, let me explain you that what are the basic things which NCA is looking for in making your assessment. First is your pre-law education. You need not only to send your law transcripts, you are to send your graduation, all graduation. Say you have done 5-year law degree integrated course, or you have done 3 years course, then whatsoever your graduation degree before doing law, then you have to send the credentials of that education as well. From any country you have done it. Then they take into account your academic performance, that how you performed in your academics during your pre-law and particularly in legal education. What subjects you have read, how you scored, whether you ever failed in any of the exams. If ever you failed, then what were the reasons? They try to analyze everything. Even they can contact your institute directly, but generally they don't contact. What was your mode of study? If you are studying online, then no credit is given. If you are studying in class study, only the COVID-19 period is exempted from it. Apart from that, your study should be offline study, means to say classroom study. What was your medium of instructions? These are the things which the NCA will be looking for in making your assessment. So many times students come to me, lawyers come to me, they ask me that they have sent one, like if they are colleagues, they say that we have done the legal education from the same institute and we scored approximately the same marks. He has given 6 exams. I have been given 5. But the point in question is everybody needs to get 5, but 6, maybe say torts, law torts. You may get law torts if you haven't read torts in your legal education. And you may get property if you have not read properties, and law of contract. If you will not, if you have not read law of contract, then you will be getting. These are the core subjects. 5 plus 3 are the core subjects. Otherwise, there are total 15 subjects. So let me name these subjects. First, you have to pass Canadian administrative law, means to say I'm naming the subjects. We will be coming that what time period you are given for getting clear these exams. let us know the names first. Canadian Administrative Law, Canadian Constitutional Law, Canadian Criminal Law, Canadian Professional Responsibility, Foundations of Canadian. These are the 5 subjects which Canada expects that any lawyer coming from any jurisdiction should pass to qualify NC. And 3 are more, as I have already explained you, contract, property and torts. So many people do ask that they have read all these 5 subjects, why they need to read. The answer to that question is that you have to have the knowledge of Canadian perspective, like administrative law or constitutional law. Constitutional law is a subjective subject. You are need to read Canadian Constitution. If you go for criminal law, you need to read criminal code, professional responsibility. There is a professional code for all lawyer to practice in Canada. There are various compliances, client relationship, lawyer-client relationship, which is of utmost importance. There are various things which are involved into this. So foundation law is that law upon which all the laws of Canada have been made. How the laws came into existence, this is what the foundation law. Contract talks about contract. Property law is Canadian property laws. Torts is, of course, you may be conversant with, but Canada gives it a different perspective. That is why that is known as Canadian torts. We can call it as Canadian torts, not we can call it as. So now let us move to another subjects which can be there. Business organization, civil procedure, commercial law, evidence, family law, remedies, tax law. If you are weak, say, for the sake of argument, if you are weak into this family law in your home jurisdiction, then you are likely to get family law. Similar is the case with civil procedure. If you have scored very less marks, then you are likely to get civil. But very rare student gets out of these 7. Generally, everybody gets 5 plus out of 1 or 2 out of those 3, which we have already discussed. Now, after June 1, 2022, NCA has introduced one course of legal research and legal right. It is a 8 weeks course online. You are to pay prescribed fee, pass certain online test into this exam, then submit certain assignments. After completion of that, you become qualified in legal research and legal right. So in nutshell, if you are planning for NCA, you have to clear minimum of 5 subjects and legal research and legal writing. So this is NCA. Now the basic question, this is the, like NCA exams are online. Earlier these were offline, to be held at 4 places in the world, in New Delhi, London, Toronto and Vancouver. But once the COVID came into being, these became online, and NCA's executive director in many of our interviews have told that it will always be online for times. So it will never be offline. But exam online means to say you have to type the exams, you have to complete the descriptive type of exam. These are descriptive type of exams. 3 hours. Earlier it was 3.5 or 4 hours exams. Now these are 3 hours exam of 100 marks each. And you need to qualify 50 marks to pass it. And let me say you, it's not only open book exam, it's open material exam. Also, you can take anything in the material form. Books, notes, sheets, charts, papers, anything in the material form, you can take it with you. You should have a closed room. In online exam, 2 cameras are always watching you. And those 2 cameras are like, one is your desktop camera, like, or your laptop camera. Another is your mobile camera, placed on the left hand side. So 2 cameras are always recording you. It's an online exam. Once you appear in online exam, you can appear in the comforts of your room. But you should have an access to closed room in which for those 3 hours nobody can interfere. 3.5 hours because 15 minutes or half an hour before they want you to be present for the exam. Your system will be locked by the monitor EDU organization which takes the exams. And once you start your exams, it is 3 hours precisely. Once you submit either before or after 3 hours, it is automatically submitted. So this is all about the examination process. And apart from that, you will be glad to know that NCA, once your assessment is made, so your assessment is made, say for instance, on 1st of November 2022, then you can complete this NCA process within 5 years. NCA gives you 5 years to complete this process, and you have 3 chances, 3 attempts to clear every exam. You can clear any exam, but you have to pay examination fee. Every time you have to appear, you have to pay examination fee. You can cancel any of the exams. You have to make online booking of the exam. There is a 12-month schedule based on quarterly system. Like in January, there are 2 exams. 2 exams are in February. One exam, if you have been given 5, the one exam is in March. Similar will be the schedule like April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Generally, December, there are no exams. It is split into 2.5 months. So it's a 12 months, approximately 12 months schedule of NCA. You can book any exams after your assessment and any time before the starting of the exam, 24 hours before, you can cancel your exam or defer your exam. Then small amount is deducted of $50. Then you can postpone or means to say cancel your exam and book for the next sitting. These exams are as per the EST timings, like Toronto timings, but you can calculate the timings for your booking. You can have it in the morning or in the like evening or late in the evening. So this is the whole process of NCA. Now the point is once you complete all the given exams along with the course, you become NCA qualified. You get CQ, Certificate of Qualification. That certificate of qualification does not, I'm using the word not, entitles you for anything except that you have become at par with Canadian legal graduate. It does not give you right for any immigrations. Generally, people do come to me and say that once they are NCA qualified, are they given 50 marks into the like express entry scheme of Canada? The answer is no. This has been a debatable question. If anybody puts it into this express entry program, no credit is being given. So it does not give you any special credit into your immigration process or special consideration by the immigration officer, visa clearance officer. But once you become NCA qualified, you can enroll yourself any of the law societies. Of course, we are going to proceed with the law societies of Canada. That what is their procedure in brief, I will be explaining you the whole. Now, let me have, although number of participants are less, but still, let us have your questions. Anybody can unmute and speak, please. I suppose I am clear on topics. Now let us go to the another part of our presentation for the day.
Sir, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
I want to know that only these mark sheets and certificates will be enough for NCA, or do we need any more documents from our bar councils?
No, you have to give one certificate of standing. like experience certificate, or you can call it as a continuity certificate in some jurisdictions.
Right, that would be enough for them.
Enough means to say you have done BA, say Bachelor of Arts, say for the
Okay.
sake of argument, then you have done like this LLB.
Right.
Then you have to submit your degree certificate of BA along with the transcripts of BA. That may be annual system, that may be semester system. Then LLB degrees and certificates, these are sufficient. And
Okay.
then, of course, you need to go to Bar Council and request them. If I am to give my home jurisdiction Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, they charge 1,000 rupees and send that certificate of good standing to NCA.
Okay. We can't submit it ourselves, like we have to go to the bar council and tell them and fees.
Yes, 100%.
We can do
And
it.
no, you cannot.
We
You
cannot,
have to
right?
go to, you cannot do it yourself. NCA only accept directly from your university or licensing authority.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Now I understand.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
Certificate of from the bar council.
Certificate of good standing, you can call it as certain. If you go to Delhi Bar Council, then they call it as certificate of good standing. If you go to Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, they call it continuity certificate.
Okay.
But say, for the sake of argument, another question which comes to my mind, which people generally ask, you are not a lawyer, you are a law graduate. Whether you can go ahead, the answer is yes. But you cannot conceal any material facts. Once you are declaring that you are a lawyer, means to say you are licensed in your home jurisdiction, then you have to. I always consider every question to be a good question for the
Sir,
simple reason, because if you will be keeping on asking the questions, doubts of many people will get cleared. Please go ahead.
sorry, sir. One last time, I want to clarify the certificate of good standing mean that I am the one who is doing the practice in this bar council. Like this, I mean, like this is the meaning of the certificate, right?
Yes, it can be interpreted in different ways. Like if you go to, as I was giving example of Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, they will only be issuing the certificate if they don't have any disciplinary complaint pending against you.
Okay.
Say if there is any disciplinary complaint pending against you and that has not been cleared, they won't be issuing you, or they will be making a mention of that. What sort of complaint is there against any person, whosoever is applying as an applicant. Then say in the past, if you have a like any complaint, disciplinary complaint, suspension, or anything pertaining to your license, then they are going to report that. Then of course the NCA do considers that, say in exceptional circumstances. But let me say you one thing. Say a person, this is something outright example I am giving. A
Yes.
person is of immoral character, and
Okay.
that has been reported to the your licensing authority. And later on, that complaint has been cleared. In Canada, the best thing is they do not consider your past a blot upon you. But suppose there is a disciplinary complaint with respect to a client, then they consider it more seriously. And whether you were punished for that complaint, or whether you were like the complaint was dismissed, or whether there was any temporary suspension of your license was there, or whether there is a permanent suspension. If there is a permanent suspension, of course you are not going to get that certificate. So this is all about what I can say.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Any other question regarding NCA? Because I do consider that whatsoever doubt, if you are making up your mind, you are already have done NCA assessment, let me tell you, NCA is such an organization which is very open. Not only NCA, the difference what I have found during my own like experience throughout my own studies, then after getting lessons as a barrister and solicitor in other jurisdictions and Canada. In Canada, suppose I will give you first an instance, then I will explain my point. Suppose if a person needs to say I am of good character, but he needs to produce nothing. He is to say himself that I am of good character. Once you say that you are good of good character, then everybody is to believe. But suppose afterwards it is found that you were not of good character at the point of submission of certificate of good character, then of course you will be in trouble or you have to explain your conduct. Then you can be right away disqualified. So the point is, in other jurisdiction, you have to obtain certain certificates from different bodies, but you will see in the further presentation that in Canada, people's words are given due acceptance. Whosoever is there. This is something common practice. And lastly, the point which I was making is if
हाँ जी,
anybody is
हाँ
of
जी, हाँ जी.
yes, please.
Sorry, sorry.
Never mind. So if anybody is of not of competent enough to state any fact, then he needs to bring certain evidences to support his or her version. That's all.
So you
Yes, please.
talked about that the NCA looks at the percentage with which you have passed your LLB. So is there any benchmark? Is there any score under which the NCA might reject your application?
There are two criteria. One is that if you are below 50%, each each means to say each subject, or say in certain universities they give you like supplementary exams. We commonly call it as supplies. And if a person have not performed well and say he has taken 3 chances or 4 chances to pass the exams, and even after that the score is low, then NCA may reject. Another factor to reject anybody's is if your law degree has become stale. Stale means to say you have say done law in 20 years back, 30 years back, and now you want to go for NCA. There is no age limit. And if you are going for NCA at any stage, then NCA may consider that if you are not doing the profession you have done 20 years back, and during those 20 years you have no connection with the legal profession. Neither you have been employed by any as a lawyer or as a law officer, nor you were a judge or as like public prosecutor, means to say in the legal field you were working, maybe in-house counsel. Then NCA may consider your degree as stale and reject.
Sir, regarding the percentage, they see
50% can
the
be the
50% is the minimum with which you need to pass your degree. But you even mentioned further that in certain subjects, if you haven't scored the required percentage, the NCA will recommend that you give those exams also, those optional exams.
yes. There is no declared criteria in the policy and programs of NCA, but this is something experience-based methodology I am telling you that generally NCA is very open-minded, but they do consider that what was the overall conduct. Suppose they come with a question, a person have done 3 years of law degree and 1 year, there was a gap of 3 years in between. He has done first year, then 3 years gap, then second year. Then they may call for an explanation that your degree is in parts. Like you have done first year in first instance, then you waited for another 2 years. What were the reasons? Then you can explain your reasons. Suppose some home problem was there, you were financially incompetent to pay the fees, Anything can be there. You can explain. There is always an opportunity of explanation.
So, sir, even for the subjects, the minimum requirement is 50%.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
that is there. But I have seen certain candidates say, like, if your overall is 55%, in one or two of your exam, it is less than 50%. People are getting even 5 subjects. I am saying it's not a declared policy matter that you must have 50%. But they have written that minimum of 50% is required, but that is not the disqualifying criteria.
Okay.
So thin line differences, there. But generally, we ask everybody if one is below 50% in his degree exams, not only in one or two papers, overall, means to say he's 40, 45, anything, then it is hard to, then it will be like taking a chance for NCSS.
Sir, apart from this, does an advocate has to give the information regarding the cases which he has fought in the local courts to the NCA also? Do they see
No,
that how much experience he has at the bar?
no.
Okay.
Even if you don't have any experience, NCA is looking for your educational credentials. I told you, if you are not licensed as a lawyer, still you can go for NCSS.
Sir, the thing which I heard from someone was that if you have experience at bar, if you have fought cases, then the requirement for giving these 5 papers can also be waived off.
No, I have thought twice to say no. I written this particular point. When I appeared in NCA, I was 20 years qualified. I had certain expertise in different fields. Rather, I am like for arbitration, I am certain members of international bodies as well. So I written to the NCA. The NCA says their particular argument is they are not judging anything out of you. They are making you conversant with the Canadian laws. I have given you, I will go a little backward in my slides. Just a moment, please. Give me a second. Give me a moment, please. I'm just coming to the names of the. Is the share screen? Oh, no, it's not. Yes, I suppose now it's visible to everyone. Can you see the share screen, please?
Yes.
Canadian
Yes.
administrative law. It talks about what is the administrative law in Canada. Say you have read administrative law in your home jurisdiction, but you are not conversant with the Canadian administrative law, constitutional law. Everybody, maybe say you are coming from India, you have read Indian constitution, you have practiced a lot as you were stating in constitutional law, you have done many cases in the High Court or Honorable Supreme Court. But you are not conversant with Canadian constitutional law, particularly first the Canadian Constitution, then their case laws, because it's a common law country based on precedents. There are many laws, how those laws will be applied to particular situations. Similar is the case with Canadian criminal code. For instance, in India, there is only murder. I'm giving you one of the most serious offenses. In Canada, there is first degree murder, second degree murder. So you cannot have that knowledge. Canadian professional responsibility. Of course, we have Legal Ethics or Advocates Act in India, but in Canadian professional responsibility, compliances are very much. So you need to come up to those, and complaints are generally made against the lawyers. Every lawyer needs to be insured. If a complaint is made, heavy fine is imposed, insurance is there to take care of the lawyer. So these sort of scenarios you need to read. Foundations of Canadian law means thereby Canadian legal history based on which the Canadian laws have been made, and presently how the laws are being applied by the judges in Canadian courts. This is what the foundation law can be described as. So what I'm trying to say, if you go to the 5 core subjects, how many years experience you might be having. But the point in question is you need to be conversant with these 5 subjects. That is why I am emphasizing that you need to have knowledge, even if you have any numbers of years of experience and expertise there, because you are not again conversant with the Canadian system. Am I
So
clear, please?
yes, sir. Sir, does the experience in your home country uh, give you the liberty to get that mandatory internship period waived off? Because after clearing this, you have to do a internship under some lawyer. So if you are experienced, if you have the experience of having fought
We
cases
are
in your home
coming,
country.
sorry to interrupt, but we are coming to that. Meaning thereby that that is the next part of our like presentation for the day. I will be taking 5 or 10 minutes of that presentation. First, we are concentrating upon NCA so that I may be clear upon each and every aspect of NCA. I have done it myself NCA. Then afterwards, hundreds of students have been contacting me. I have taught various tens of students, and so many students bring many doubts. So first, I want to clear the first hurdle, or you say milestone. If you achieve the first milestone of getting cleared, the NCA becomes NCA qualified, then you are good to go with the next procedure, which is a little different. Any other
Sure,
question regarding NCA?
Sir, from the above eight exams, can we choose 5 exam
Pardon,
from
I could
eight?
not get. What do you want to ask?
Uh, from the above eight exam,
Yes, please.
we choose
No, no, no.
5 exams.
No, the subjects which I have shown in in blue color,
Yes, yes,
Canadian
it's
Administrative
done.
Law
And
Foundation, first 5. These are mandatory. 5 subjects are mandatory. There is no option.
and in the rest of 3,
You may not be given any of those. If you are given, even then it's not optional.
okay.
NCA, the eligibility, as I have joined late, the eligibility for NCA is
Sir, you should be a legal graduate, minimum
legal
graduate.
practitioner. I am a practitioner.
So that is an additional.
Okay.
You can be licensed or you cannot be licensed.
The examination for NCA is conducted every year.
The 12 months a year, 11 and a half months a year.
So where do we get the requisite brochure or so? What information regarding the NCA examination?
I will be sharing this today's presentation again, but this is the NCA.legal. You can go to NCA.legal, National Committee on Accreditation, if you Google, or you can go directly to NCA.legal. There you will have to find an online application.
NCA.legal.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely, but I want to say you, I will be posting this recording in groups as well, so that you may, and the persons who have not could not join because everybody is busy in these days. So I will be posting it. So you can have the benefit of that. You can watch.
Okay. It has been recorded and the recording will be shared.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not want to revisit the whole because it will take much of the time. But as far as your question is concerned, it's NCA.legal. Any other question, please?
No.
So can you repeat that point where you referred that your documents need to be sent from your university directly to NCA?
Yes, it is very easy. Like say, I will give you now different manner. You have went to nca.legal, filed an online application, uploaded your resume, then you have paid the fees, which is approximately $550. Once you paid that, your online account for times to come is created. You have there a file number has been created. A file number, with that file number, you will go to your university. Like this. You will go to your university, give this file number that is written on website as well. National Committee on Accreditation, Federation of Law Societies of Canada, World Exchange Plaza, so and so. So you will give this information and file a app. Of course, if the universities are offering online services, then that is not a point. Everything is ready-made. If it is not there, then you will find a manual application that I have applied for NCA assessment. Now NCA wants that my transcripts, these are the copies of my transcripts. These kindly be verified and sent directly with your forwarding letter to the NCA. You will write it like this, my file number on the envelope as well. Universities are nowadays well conversant. If you go to any of the universities which are not conversant, then you need to explain this whole concept. If you go to like Guru Nanak Dev University, Delhi University, Pune University, or major universities of the Punjab University or Punjabi University, all are well conversant with these things. So they will send directly, even Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana, Delhi Bar Council of UP, go to any bar council. They are also well conversant in these days. It is not that first time you are asking them. If you go to UK, even Solicitor Regulatory Authority is well conversant. If you go to Australia, they are also, means to say you go in any of the, go to Pakistan, neighboring country, even there, most of the universities or bar councils are well conversant with these processes. I suppose nobody is going to face any problems, but you are most welcome to contact me anytime.
Sir, one last question. Once I have done this assessment and then I sent my documents and everything to the WS for the immigration purpose, that thing will not be considered by NCA. They have
No.
checked all these things from the Higher Education Commission, and then I got a certificate from WS.
I understand, but sorry to say no. Because NCA, there you are, there are different sort of people. They are the people who are doing it for your career purpose. They have not made assessment to your credentials. They have just made, like say, you have done your MA degree, like master's degree from any of the universities in India. If you go to WES, they are going to say you have done postgraduate 1 year diploma, even if you have done 2 years master's degree. But if you go to NCA is not looking for general credentials. NCA is looking for your pre-law degree or law degree. They are not even say you have done PhD in law, you have done MPhil in law, you have done MSc in, what do you call it, LLM in law. They are not concerned.
LLM.
LLM means to say they are not concerned. What they are looking for, legal graduation.
Okay.
Sir,
Thank you.
WSS are different, sir. That is for the immigration purpose.
That is
NCA is
just for the
completely
immigration.
different body.
Yes, that is a different body, but I am giving you reasons. I'm not saying point blank that no, that is not valid. Of course, that is not valid. But simultaneously, I'm telling you that why it is not valid. NCA, it is valid because they are checking your legal credentials, legal subjects. WS is not checking your marks. Say you have scored 49%, you have scored 40%, or you have scored 92%. WS is not concerned. WES is to say there are many organizations now. WES is one of the organizations, and they are to say that you are a graduate. That's all. They will write it like how many years education you have done, that is certified. That is what WES has said. But NCA is making, as I have detailed you, like analysis of your credentials.
So, sir, regarding the transcript, sir, we have to take the copies of our certificates to the university, and they'll verify, and then they'll send it to NCA.
Yes, under their seal and sign.
Okay, sir.
Any other question? I told you every question is a good question, and it is giving me very good confidence that people are taking interest. And once you start taking interest, the first step is that you should give your 100%. What is 100%? Whatsoever you are doing, that is something motivational, I can say you. Whatsoever you start doing, even I started doing NCA after 22 years of my education, 21 years of my education. So there is in Canada, let me say you one encouraging factor to all of the persons who may listen afterwards. In Canada, there is no upper age limit. In populated countries or third world countries, we are used to a concept of upper age limit. In Canada, there is no upper age limit. In Canada, age never matters. In Canada, the point which I want to make regarding NCA or becoming a barrister and solicitor, people are seeing your aptitude, not your age. That may be a subjective element that if anybody is seeing your age, but generally they are seeing your capabilities, your aptitude towards the practice of law. That is what I have come across. That is the beauty of Canada, the land of opportunities. Of course, I'm not a messenger or to propagate anything about Canada, but still, these are the factual details which I am sharing with you.
Sir, and regarding the exam, sir, you said that the exam at present is being held in online mode only, and it's an open book exam.
Open material exam, one step ahead. Like open book, you have the book, you can see the book. In NCA, you can have anything at your disposal in paper form. You may have small sheets, you may have cheat sheets, you may have your notes, you may have your charts, you may have your anything in the paper form, not in the soft form.
Sir, why they allow it like this?
Because they just want to see you. This is not a memory test. These are not memory tests. These are application-based tests. Memory test, they never ask you to memorize it. Of course, in the process, many things get memorized. If a person has got photographic memory and he sees a paper once, he gets everything memorized. That is a different concept. But NCA is looking for 4 factors. First is NCA is looking for that you study deep into the concepts. Second, comprehension of your knowledge. That whatsoever you have studied, whether you can comprehend that and present that. Third is your time management. You are to comprehend everything whatsoever you have studied, even it that is at your disposal. Then you have to comprehend within a given time frame. That is a third thing. Fourth thing which NCA is looking for, proper application. Proper application to the given facts. What the examiner is looking for in the NCA exam is altogether a different paraphernalia. That is, he is looking for that what he has asked and how you have replied. Suppose you have ready-made material with you that is going little out of the track, but still it's good to tell. Once you have everything ready-made on your table, you are allowed to see everything. Why it is so? Because they want to see whether you can club the given information with the facts. So 4 things are required, I told you. Deep studies, then comprehension of the knowledge, then time management. After time management, they are looking for what they are looking for, application.
Proper application of facts.
And if you are good, only throwing the material. Suppose you have the material, written material with you, you throw it. And if, say, I will give you another instance. In NCA, everybody who scores 50% is pass. And they never declare your result. And the interesting factor is, suppose you have attempted 100, we always say you attempt 100 marks. You attempted 100 marks of the exams. The moment you score 50, examiner is not going to check the rest of your paper. He's going to say, declare you pass. But say he checked the whole of your paper. You could not score 50%. Then even in NCA, persons who score 45, 48, 49 even are failed. And failure report is given to them. Failure examiner needs to tell that what you have lacked, how you have lacked, what you need to give in this answer, and why you haven't given the less marks. So if you are scoring less than 40, 50 marks, you are given a failure. So that is the beauty of the exam. I always enjoy telling this fact. Why so? For a simple reason. Because in NCA, they are looking for lawyers. They are not looking for crammers. Persons who can cram the knowledge and put it. This is not cramming of the knowledge. This is something application-based exams. This is something out of the way I was telling you to make it little more interesting. And this is something really like enjoyable to go through such a procedure where you love to learn.
Yes. What a shame it
Sir,
will
and
be when we
you,
fail, even if we have all the material in front of us and we don't know how to apply it. It is such a,
The
situation.
same thing, if you are standing before a judge and you do not know what to tell to him, he's not going to listen you or he's not going to afford you time. That is what NC is looking for. You are standing before a judge, present your client's case before him. And if you do not know how to present it, and if you cannot satisfy the judge for specific queries put forward by that judge, then you are not good to practice in Canada. That is how I can put.
So you always cleared your exams in the first attempt?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, please, sir. You were about to ask something.
yes, sir. So you were saying that at present you have to type the exam. You don't have the option to write it and scan it, and send it to NCA.
No, this
You
will
have to
never
type
be.
it.
You have to type it. And this was an interesting question. Once it became during COVID time, it became online. I was also somewhat instrumental in making it, getting it online. We requested NCA many times to make it online. Then many people were waiting in the queue that once it will become offline, we will appear. Then, as I have already named, Executive Director of NCA, Madam Deborah Wolf, came on the media and told in one of her podcasts that it will never be offline. And she further went to an extent of saying that I do not want any lawyer from anywhere in the world to come to Canada and practice who do not know typing. Because you cannot afford in Canada stenos, the typists. So that is the reason in Canada. One more interesting fact I would like to tell you. In most of the countries, judgment is written by judges. In Canada, judgments are written by lawyers. Of course, this is a detailed topic to be discussed. We will discuss it separately at any other time. But this is something, another interesting factor I am telling.
So, sir, there will be no offline exams going forward. Like you gave the reasoning of that the director said that the lawyers who intend to come to Canada, they ought to know how to type. So, but sir, but before COVID, there were offline exams and there was no such issue. So, sir, the logic is flawed that they have if they have shifted it to online, giving the pretext that the advocates should know how to type.
Sorry to interrupt, friend, but let me say you, when we studied law, we never had the internet. If we have to search anything, we cannot approach Google. I cleared my exam in 1998 and we were like never even anticipated at any point of time there will be a mobile phone. This is a continuous evolutionary process, what I am trying to tell you. And once I quoted Madam Deborah Wolf, she was referring to that this is an evolutionary stage of the world. And of course, COVID-19 was a curse on mankind, but still, it has taught us many things. One such thing is that we have to be instrumental in learning new technologies. That is how I can put it. Of course, you have your own viewpoint. I respect that. But simultaneously, I would like to say that evolution is the natural mankind process. That is how the legal processes are also evolving. Earlier, it was offline, right? Written exams. Now they are earlier there were no online hearings of the courts. Now there are online hearings of the court. Earlier there were no digital filing of the documents. Now in most of the US courts there is digital filing left only. In India even the digital filing has started in some courts of in Supreme Courts or High Courts. So this is an evolutionary process.
So it seems to be more expedient that NCA doesn't have to organize exams in different parts of India by online. Their work is not that much burdensome because by online the prospective candidates can give the exams without less hassle to NCA. They have to organize the exam, conducting for 3 hours, and it takes further than that. So it looks more like looks more like expediency to NCA than giving this flawed logic of advocates knowing how to type.
Both the things are there. I would put it like this. That is my way of thinking. When we used to write a mail, we used to put it into the letterbox and it reaches the persons. Then it was having its own logic. Now, on the click of a button, email reaches. Now, somebody was asking me how to undo a mail. In WhatsApp, you can clear the message, delete for everyone. In email, you cannot. But in the times to come, there will be, because lawyers are facing big problem because of it. Sometimes there is a big error. Say you are sending your bill to your client. Wrong amount has been quoted. But that will become a piece of evidence. Email is a piece of evidence. So that is an evolutionary process. What one says or how one conceives it, that is a point of argument. You have your own viewpoint. I respect that. I already told you. I tried to put it like this because that is a quoted words. Whether you agree with that or not, that is something one's own aptitude. I respect your views. Any other question, please? Now we are left with the next part of our today's program. We are with the, yes, we were here certificate of eligibility, which has been issued. Like once your certificate of eligibility is issued to you, then you are competent as a Canadian legal graduate to get yourself enrolled in any of the law societies of Canada. Canada has got 14 law societies. As an introduction, I am telling you, Canada has got 10 provinces, 3 territories, 13. Then how comes 14 law societies? I do not disclose this thing, but Canada has got 14, Quebec has got 2 law societies. Why Quebec has got 2 law societies? This is a big question in Canadian foundations of Canadian law. You will read that. But for the time being, I am telling you in Canada, there are 14 law societies. 2 are in Quebec, 10 are or each province has got its own law society. Moreover, why I am telling this? Because in Canada, every law society has its own procedure of enrollment. You go to Law Society of Ontario, LSO. You go to Law Society of British Columbia, LSBC. You go to LSA, Law Society of Alberta, meaning thereby you go to any of the law society, they have their complete separate procedure of enrollment of an advocate. And we will be talking about LSO. Why we will be talking about? Because of 2 factors. Of course, one can have choice. That is why I have disclosed that there are 14 law societies. But apart from that, LSO, Law Society of Ontario, Ontario province having about 50% of the Canadian population. Is a bigger piece of land having lots of opportunity for lawyers. So that is why, and I do not say it is easy, it is a difficult procedure, but everybody has its own preferences. That may be a point of debate. But generally people opt for Law Society of Ontario because of two reasons. First is that it is situated in one of the biggest provinces. Second, which is rather more important, there is national mobility agreements. National mobility agreements entitle you, if you are a lawyer in Ontario, you can get your license shifted, transferred, you can call it. Generally speaking, you can practice in any of the provinces. But vice versa is not true. Suppose you are a law society of a lawyer of Law Society of British Columbia, but if you want to move at any stage of your life into the Law Society of Ontario, then again you have to complete those bar exams of law. Except that everything will follow. You may not be needing other elements of lawyer licensing process, but exams will again be there. So that is why generally people clear Law Society of Ontario's procedure in the first instance. Like myself is licensed by I'm a barrister and solicitor in Canada. I was licensed in August 2021 by LS, Law Society of Ontario. Now I want to move to LSBC, Law Society of British Columbia. Why I'm giving my instance? Because the same happens to be true. I will be filing my transfer certificate to get my license transferred to the Law Society of British Columbia. So that is generally people, 80 to 85% of the people opt for Law Society of Ontario. That is why today we will be discussing the procedure of Law Society of Ontario. As I told you, nca.legal is a website. Similar is the lso.ca is the website of Law Society of Ontario. We commonly call it as LSO. Here, once you have, now we are at a stage, once you have qualified to be a NCA, you have done your NCA, now you are to do lawyer licensing process. You have to file an online application, pay prescribed fee of $160 plus HST. Their GST is called HST, generally speaking. Not very particularly, there may be differences in both. Harmonized sales tax is the HST. So HST along with the application fee after payment of that, similar is the process. Candidate number, Law Society of Ontario, you have to send your attested forms to the Law Society of Ontario. Once they receive that, you need not to send any other thing from any other organization. You are to send your own paper send, and you are to request NCA to send your CQ directly to the Law Society of Ontario, which they happily give. Even you can send your CQ, certificate of qualification, to all the law societies in the first instance. But if you do not opt for all of the law societies, then afterwards it is $100 paid. In first instance, it is free. You can send even to all the law societies. But in the second attempt, it is $100 per law society. So generally, this is something extra information I'm giving you. So once your CQ reaches, your paper send reaches, paper bundle reaches to the LSO, you become lawyer licensing candidate. What is that? Let us see. Once you become LSO candidate, then you need to do components of lawyer licensing. One is experiential training requirement. Experiential training requirement. There are different modes of doing it. People generally ask for articling, but there are three modes of completing this part of the process. One is law practice program. We call it as LPP, offered by two universities, Ryerson University and University of OTWA. OTWA offers it in French, in English, Ryerson University. Ryerson University is run by LSO, Law Society of Ontario. It's 8 months program, 8 months training course, and 4 months workplace. Generally, session starts in August or September. This is one way of completing this component. Second way of doing it, articling. You can have a place in any of the law firms under an approved principal. Earlier it was 10 months. It is 8 to 10 months wherein you have to check when you will be getting enrolled. It can be part-time, it can be full-time, depends upon one's credentials to be considered by the law society. Generally, it is full-time. But let me say you simultaneously, it is very hard to get a place of articling in Canada. Hundreds of students always remain in queue in different, in say, good law firms. One barrister I came across, I have a chance of meeting him. He asked me an interesting question I'm just sharing with you, that I wanted to do articling. He told me that I never wanted to go for exemption. Then I asked him, he asked me rather, then how many law firms I filed application. I guessed it. I was sitting across the table. I told him, sir, you might have filed in 100. To my utter surprise, he told me that he filed in 1600. 1600. Then only he got a chance of getting articling in one of the law firms. So my point of telling is that articling is little difficult. But if you have, then this is one of the modes. Then third is exemption from experiential training. Other law societies generally, this is another factor I'm telling you, another law society generally don't give exemption. Generally, exceptionally, everything is possible. But Law Society of Ontario can give you exemption. Based on prior practice, the condition is you must have minimum of 10 months of experience in your home jurisdiction. Again, your law degree should not be stale. You have to prove certain elements. Now the new trend has come. During our times, I was exempted from experiential training in the first instance. But nowadays, law societies is also interviewing the referees. You need to submit 2 references letters or at least 1 reference letter. Now the law society is generally asking the referees about your conduct, about your experience, and they do try to cross-examine in a way, I will use this word, in a way that whether you were really practicing or here, one of my friends has asked whether the details of the court cases or judgments are required. Here you can submit. Here you can submit that. It will give you an edge. It will give you an edge. The point is, I recommend if you have an working status in Canada, I always recommend to go for LPP program because this program in the work placement last 4 months gives you an opportunity, gives you a big opportunity to get acquainted with those law firms which never allows generally the new entrants to enter into their arena. So any student referred by the LSO being part of LPP law practice program, they can prove their worth to the law firm and get good placements. That is how I suggest in these days. Of course, I was exempted. I told you many people opt for exemption. So these are the 3 components by which you can fulfill that. The first is I told you law practice program. Second is articling. Third is exemption. So never ever think these are the 3. Another condition is good character required. I told you, you are to yourself state that I am of good character. But I will stop here for a while and tell you that say a person is not of good character in his home jurisdiction or even in Canada. The person is living Canada, done NCA, then afterwards come for this, and during that time or at any point of time, you are charged with any criminal offense or even offense against the state, sovereignty of the country. Even then, you can be eligible to become a lawyer in Canada. You just need to say, now I am of good character. And you need to submit all the paperwork which was of your bad character, and afterwards it became good character. One person came to me, he was having a traffic challan. Of course, that is not a disentitlement, but he never attended the court, and later on he was punished for 6 months. He came to me and asked me whether I will be uh, allowed to get enrolled in the law society for as far as good character is requirement is there. Mega, you should submit your jail sentence certificate that you have undergone 6 months of sentence, or you have appealed that matter and your sentence has gone. Then you have become of good character. Then you can. There are reported cases in which even the terrorists became the lawyers. Terrorists of the past. This is an open debate in Canadian society. Whether a person who was a terrorist at a point of time, I'm giving you the extreme example. This is something correct one. There are reported cases in SCC, Supreme Court cases in Canada by the Honorable Supreme Court or by the Ontario Court of Appeal or British Columbia Supreme Court, means to say Court of Appeal, that if a person is not of good character, but later on he has reformed himself, then he can be entitled to practice. So what I want to say, in Canada, real reformation process is, particularly for the lawyers, I'm not talking it as generally, please, arguments can hold good. I may be proved wrong, and I accept that with whole humility. But point in question is, you people need to know that good character requirement can be met by even those who are not of earlier of good character. This is all about good character. Now coming to the next, licensing examination. There are two licensing examination: barrister exam, solicitor exam. He is held 3 times a year. Licensing year starts in May 1, ends on April 30. Candidate is given 3 attempts each in 3 licensing years. Both exams are held in March, June, and November. 4 are multiple choice questions are there, 160 questions. You get 90 seconds each to attempt. When we were doing NCA, let me tell you an interesting factor about myself. I'm not correlating with any other body. We were thinking NCA is difficult. This is easy. But once we reached this, we came to know total NCA was 30%. These exams were 70%. That is my personal experience. You can have your own experience, but it is something you need to read. Or if I'm to go running pages, 2 column pages are 2000, but running pages are say 2700 or more than that. So you are to put real, creative, constructive hours in the study during your barrister and solicitor exams. Again, here the result is again pass or fail, but percentage is cut off. If you appear in March or November, friend, you can mute yourself, please. If you are appearing in March or November, you are having 75% to 85%. And if you are appearing in June, it is plus minus 5%. Excuse me, friend, your voice is audible. I suppose you can mute yourself. Thank you. So a result is pass or fail, but percentage is generally speaking, LSO never announces the percentage. But based on the experience, it is 75% to 85%. In March and November, in June, it is 5 to 8% higher. Why so? Because in June exam, generally speaking, the university students of local university students do come, and they really increase the pass percentage. So this is how it goes. Uh, in NCA, the procedure may be different. You have to look for in LSO, barrister and solicitor exams. Once you gets enrolled, you get the study material. The whole of the study material is provided by LSO in soft form as well as paper form. So this is all about LSO. Once you clear these exams, 3 levels of, you can do anything. Exams first, articling afterwards, articling first, exams afterwards. But simultaneously, you can also do that. That depends upon your working, how many hours you can give. That depends upon your personal scenarios. But you can do, even you can file your exemption before, afterwards, all depends upon you. There is no chronological order, but you have to clear these 3 levels, meaning thereby good character, this experiential training and exams. What are these exams? 3 levels of coordination is at stake. Knowledge comprehension, you are going to read approximately 2,700 pages, running pages or 2 columns, 2,000 pages. So knowledge comprehension is the key. Application is again there. Application in Canada is not good. If you come across the school students, they are also, their studies is also application based. I have experience of my friends' children. There, everything is application based. Then goes to critical thinking. The new component which comes into this barrister solicitor exam is critical thinking. You have to critically analyze what the answer should be. You have 4 options. 2 can be outrightly rejected, but 2 are very, very, very close. And if you have thorough preparation, you are good to go. I always tell the students to aim at 100%. And if you are aiming at 100%, I never say you should aim at in June, March or November to 120 pass, 120 questions correct, or in June 135, generally speaking. I always say you should go for 160. That I am to attempt 160 and 160 should be 160 should be correct. That is my way of thinking. I did it in first attempt, and both in June. Somehow my life cycle was like that. I did it in June, but with the grace of God, I was gifted with both pass. Of course, that was based on energy that I put into the exam preparation. So critical thinking is one of the important component which comes into. So once you spend good number of hours, then of course you need to make, I told you, you have study material with you, you have to management of your study time, you should have a quick access to everything. Sorry. You should have tabs and color coding system. You should have summaries, you should have indices, you should know how to use indices in the time. You should have charts for rapid finding or rapid mapping of your brain, all at a one time. You have months of preparation, 3 hours to perform, 4 hours to perform, sorry, 4 hours to perform. So this is what you get afterwards. Now we never get, we got administrative, but this is Roy Thompson Hall. You are like decorated in black gown and you get it like this. This is called to, you become licensed. Although I was not, means to say I was licensed, but I could not attend this ceremony due to COVID-19. And we were given administrative call to bar, meaning thereby we submitted our papers, we even taken the oath on papers, and afterwards we got the license. That is how we did it, but this is something I would repeat it. Good. This is Roy Thompson Hall in Toronto. It happens twice a year, this function, and once in London. This function happens, then you are ceremonially barrister and solicitor. So this is all about my telling of journey about starting from NCA, how to become barrister and solicitor. You can have questions about LSO or even about NCA. Let's concentrate about LSO, then we will complete this session. Anybody wants to ask anything? Whenever I complete, people do say me that let us concentrate first upon NCA, then we will be thinking upon LSO. That is why less number of questions do come about LSO, but I have tried to make you all aware about NCA and LSO. My only objective is to that nobody should be left behind just because he do not have the access to information. Today we are living in the world when everybody has got human right to have an access to information. That is my general endeavor in providing you this information, so that you, being the lawyers from the legal brethren, should advance your career and become barrister and solicitors. Thank you very much. Still you have any question, I will wait for a few seconds, then we will complete this session.
So the first step which you enumerated of the advocate training course. So once we complete that 8-month course, then there is no requirement for articling.
No,
Like
this is all three types of either exemption or articling or LPP.
Okay. So if the course 8-month course is done, after that you do your barrister and solicitor exam,
Or
and then
simultaneously.
simultaneously according to your pace.
Yes.
Sir, can you tell about the Law Society of Alberta?
That is an elaborate program. I cannot comment because I don't have the ready-made latest information. I know something, but I do not want to share since I am not very confident that I have the correct information. I know about LSBC, I know about Alberta, I know about Saskatchewan. There are different procedures, but they kept on changing. But LSCBC has got ticklish program. They have also their own barrister and solicitor program. I can tell you components. To elaborate, each have got individual long, there are different sort of exams which are really difficult, to best of my mind, not difficult from the study aspect, because many law societies offer those programs in which you have to be have in that province. Why so? Because you do not get environment. Suppose you want to go for LSO, you will get tutors to teach you, you will get study, you will get reference material, you will get everything, because most of the students are doing it because the business strategies. But if you go to Alberta, you won't get enough of the material. That is why we do not concentrate. I do not concentrate. Many students do come to me that can you teach us for barrister and solicitor of LSBC, Law Society of British Columbia. I never opt for that because I told one of the students, if you can find 10, I will start. But I know that finding the students for LSBC is difficult. So that is why we do it.
Sir, after how much time they announce the result? NCA?
NCA announces within 4 weeks to 6 weeks.
Okay, thank you.
4 to 6 weeks is the general time. Sometimes it is early, sometimes it is late. Sometimes it is 30th day, sometimes it is like 50th day.
Sir, so the first step of getting enrolled in an advocate training program is the easiest. What I have, sir, heard from people who are going to Canada for becoming a barrister, they focus on articling. The step which you told, the first step, sir, it looks to be the most easiest.
Yes, this is something new step. LPP people are not conversant. I always advocate this step. Why so? Because this was introduced, I suppose, 3 years back. This is a new thing. First thing. Secondly, people are not conversant. I have seen many presentations about by LSO people. Even the president is called the treasurer. President of the law society is called the treasurer. He has got some specific recommendations for this program. And suppose Law Society is itself recommending certain programs or policies. I suppose those are going to be beneficial for the times to come. Particularly, I told you, suppose you are going in a Toronto's big law firm who are having, say, 40 or 50 solicitor or barristers working for them. Even it is very hard to get entry into those law firms. Very, very hard. But if LSO asks you to go for a few days visit to that law firm, perform certain duties over there, then it becomes a wonderful opportunity. That is how
Is there a cap on the number of advocates who can enroll in this advocate training program at one point of time?
There are number of seats. First come, first serve basis. Once it is open, even if you go for exams, it is always first come, first serve.
So what's the number at which, how many do they enroll at one point of time?
I do not know. Earlier, when I was conversing, I checked it. It was, I suppose, 40 or 50. 40, I suppose. But I do not know. That is immaterial. Immaterial, why I say so? Because if you tap the date, once you tap the date, you are good to get enrollment.
Okay.
So I suppose I am clear, and this is quite a long session, but I'm really, really very thankful to all you people, because the participation is the key to the success of any program. And whosoever will be watching, I will be posting it on YouTube with the consent of all of yours. And believe me, it will be beneficial to many of them, because you people are really energetic. You have asked, I would say, although you may be less in number, but you have asked very pertinent question for which I'm really thankful to all of you, that you have made this program of mine, my endeavor, a success, great success, because for times to come, whosoever may be watching, because of your question, it will be useful to all of you. Thank you very much. Please keep in touch. My details are with you. I can be, if of any help, professional or on journal basis, I will always be delighted to. Thank you very much, and
Thank you,
thanks for
sir. Thank
giving me
you.
your time.